Hello there, and welcome to our very first episode of Wolf's Science Laboratory. Our goal here is to kind of help you guys learn about science. Questions you may have, feel free to email us and we'll answer them in later episodes. I have my assistants here with me today. This is Chase. Say hi, Chase.
Hi.
And my other assistant, Carlos. These are my sons. We are the three guys of science. And our first project we really kind of want to look at today is going to be a Tesla coil. Chase, if you would show them a picture. This is a Tesla coil. It's basically a resonant electricity to high voltages at a low current to produce amazing arcs.
That's true.
Okay, we're back. Chase, you want to go ahead? Carlos and Chase, you want to take it from
Hello
here?
guys, we'll be telling you about the material. We're going to tell you about the material you guys going to need. My dad will tell you guys what they are and how to use them. Dad, take it away.
Okay, you want to step up?
I can stand up.
Okay guys, some of the things you're going to need to build a Tesla coil is one, you're going to need some magnetic wire. I got this off eBay, it's a 32 gauge, it was just a few dollars, okay? You're going to need a 4-inch piece of 1-inch PVC in order to wrap your magnetic wire. You're going to need some sort of high voltage transistor. In my case, I have a laser driver which puts out 1500 watts at 4 amps. And you're going to need some kind of platform or something in order to put your Tesla coil on. Please remember, this is high voltage, high power. You can hurt yourself, you can get a shock, so only reproduce this if you really research and know what you're doing, and please use some caution. Okay, to get started, we got to cut our 4-inch piece of PVC. This is 1-inch diameter, and in order to do this, we need to drill 2 small holes on each end of the PVC. For that, I have my handy dandy little drill here, and we're going to drill a small hole here, and a small hole on the opposite end. Then, from there, we take our magnetic wire, get on me,
You can cut it.
and we're going to feed it through the hole, like so, and we'll give it a couple inches. Then we're going to take a small piece of tape and kind of tape that in place. Now, for the fun part, what we need to do is wind this magnetic wire around this piece of PVC tight, and so the wires are touching and not overlapping. This could take a couple hours. You can do it in front of your favorite show or such and such. Okay, what I've done, I've built this little winding jig. It's just simply some wood, a piece of dowel. We put our PVC on here, our wire down here. When you wrap this, you want to wrap it away from you in a counterclockwise direction. So we're just going to simply go around, making sure the wires are nice and flush up against each other. It's kind of hard getting started, but you'll get the hang of it. Okay, pause it. Okay, welcome back. And through the magic power of television editing, you can see I've got my secondary coil completely wrapped up with my 32 gauge wire. I had the wire going in the hole on one end and in the hole on the other end. And also, one thing I did forget to mention, on the bottom you want to put a small notch in order to run the wire through. At this point in time, we're going to take some electrical tape and we're going to wrap both ends with a good 5 or 6 wraps around. This is going to act as an insulation between our secondary and our primary coils.
Better, Daddy. So, as you can see, my dad just wrapped it up. Quick and simple. So, all you need to do basically to...
And there we have our finished secondary coil. Okay, now what we really want to do, we want to put a little bit of cardboard on here. This is just a tube from a old extra roll of toilet paper. So we're just going to cut a little piece off. Cut it down the middle. We're going to wrap this around the bottom portion of our Tesla secondary coil. Trimming off some extra. And securing it. Go ahead, Chase, give me a piece of tape off there.
I'm going. As you can see, it takes some wire to get some tape off of here.
And cut off a piece with the scissors.
Like that. Okay, ready?
About that long. About that long. A little longer. A little longer.
A little longer.
Okay, that'll work. And we're just going to secure that down.
Yeah.
Now, we got to put our coil, remember that little gap we had? We want to wire through the gap. And we're going to mount our coil onto our platform. And for this case, I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue, which works good. Just put it where you think it'll look good. And give it a second to dry.
As you can see, it's already dry.
Another part we're going to need, a very important part for this spark gap, is something we're going to call a spark gap. And for this, I just used a piece of PVC, drilled a couple holes, and put a couple nails in there, which I will be able to adjust to change the gap. And for that, we're going to glue that down right here in the front. Like so. Okay, it looks now like we're ready to wrap our primary wire, which is going to go around the base of the Tesla coil secondary wire. And for this, we're using 18 gauge wire. I took off some electrical appliance, okay? You want to leave about 6 to 8 inches of wire on each end. And my partner Chase here is going to show you how to do this. We're going to start here, and we're going to put some glue to hold it in place. Chase, put some glue on the wire, up here. And we'll just let that set for a minute. That's going to keep our wire in place while we're wrapping it.
Hi guys, it's me. I've been walking.
Okay, Tom, what time are you going to wrap that?
I'm going to wrap this around like 7
tight
times
coil.
in a tight coil.
Okay, go ahead, Chase. Go around. Keep it nice and tight. Whoop, don't overlap. Roll 5 times. One more time around. Okay, there's our primary coil, which we're going to glue in place as well. Put it right along there. That's good. A little too much. So good. We'll let that dry for just a moment.
Second. You mean second.
Okay, you want to go ahead and cut that piece right about there, Chase? With those scissors.
You cut it right here.
No,
right here. Kind of hard.
there we go. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and strip the ends.
The reason why to do that is because you need to connect this wire to another wire.
Another part.
So you can work it out. And
So how
I'm
to
doing.
We're doing good. And in the meantime, I'm going to need some more wires. I'm going to strip the ends of this one and the end of this one. And this wire is going to attach to our spark gap and to our power supply. Not so good. So these two wires here are going to be our power input. On the back side, need another wire. We're going to attach to our capacitor. What's going on? Okay, we're back. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. What we're going to do, Chase is going to wrap a wire on the second side of the spark gap.
Yeah.
You get it?
Did it.
Okay. And what this is, this spark gap, we're going to be able to adjust a little bit for depending on how much spark we need. Now, one thing any Tesla coil needs is a capacitor bank. A capacitor, what it is going to store the power till it hits a certain voltage, and it's going to release that power into the spark gap. From there, it's going to go into our primary coil. And for that, we have what I have built. Go ahead, Chase, show them this. Carlos is holding what we built was a flat capacitor. All a flat capacitor is plastic, tinfoil, in layers with wires connected to each end. So we will take that. We need those caps.
Mm-hmm.
We're simply going to connect this capacitor to our wires, like so. Need those orange caps on each end. We just give them a little secure with the cap. Here, Carlos. Spark gap is not doing it. Okay, with our capacitor wired on, now we're ready for a power source. And like I previously stated, what I'm going to be using is what I found was a laser drive, which only takes 12 to 14 volts in, but puts out 1500 volts at only 4 amps. And for that, we'll make our connections. Watch this. And with our power meter here, we're going to hook this up to our negative, hook it up to our positive, flip this on, and as you can see, our spark gap is working. We're running 15 volts at about half an amp. Now, we should be able to get very small sparks. I don't know if you can see them. Can you zoom in on this, Carlos? On this part up here. There are some very small sparks coming off. So at this point, only thing left to do is to build a top load. And a top load could be anything from a ball of aluminum to anything you want that would look good. That's going to help adjust your looks. And when you're all done and got everything running the way you would like, your finished product should
look like this.
look something like this one here. Thank you very much for joining us in our first ever
How-to video
on spark gaps. And we hope you join us and watch our next adventure. And if you have any questions related to science, feel free to email us, subscribe down at the bottom, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode.
Peace out.